Welcome guys. So I'm already here. If you look at the background, this is where we are building. This is the construction actually going on. So that is where the fundis are working. This place is Mbere North. This place is Embu County, Gindori Village, Mbere North. Yeah, so already the building is going on. David, come. So David was on ground, amekuwa kwa ground just to supervise and just make sure that everything goes on well. And David, ukasema itaisha lini?
Itaisha Wednesday. Next week Wednesday.
So nikikuja Wednesday itakuwa imeisha?
Of course itakuwa imeisha.
Okay. Yeah, so that is it. The construction is going on. David anasema itaisha on Wednesday. But we will do phase 2. When we are done with this, from that next week, tutabidi tumwekee fence hapa kwa hii boma. And David will find someone achimbe.
Yes.
Achimbe choo.
Choo.
Yeah, because there is no sewer line. We would have done the Yanyumba, but Yanyumba will not be viable because there is no sewer line. So we are not going to do that one for the house. But we're going to do a choo the other side and put up fence. Alafu tulikubaliana pia, we are also going to do for Virginia. Tukishaeka fence, tutamwekea makuku. I'm told that is something that is doing well this side. So tutamwekea kuku. If you get a very good number, atakuwa na rare. I'm told there is something called improved kienyeji in Embu. People who come from this place know. That is what we will do for Virginia. She's not around. Ameenda wapi?
Ameenda Kibarua.
Yes, so I'm told she's gone to Kibarua. Now that's how it is. So we will try to see what we can do so that we can be of help to her. So let's get to our analysis. Brenda. Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I am shooting this video. This is the last video tunashoot kwa scene. This is why we were building for Virginia, and the construction is going on behind me. I'll just want to give you a snippet of what we've covered just now and an update that I want us to get. Now, so thank you very much for those who've really come up to support this. I believe that by Wednesday, as David has said, David is one of my team members. As David has said, they will be done so that we look into what next. We will do phase 2 of this project, which ni kumempower. I decided to put it phase 2 because tunafaa kumwekea fence. Tukishamwekea fence, hiyo choo inachimbwa, so tutajenga hiyo choo. Then we are putting kuku. We are looking at kuku. Evanson also told me about mbuzis are doing well around Embu. So we look at that because I believe the economic empowerment of Virginia will go hand in hand with the house so that she can take care of the children. Now, I believe. So one of our members here will working around with Virginia so that we make sure that the process continues. So the economic empowerment of we are going to do next time. So those who are hearing this for the first time, we've been in Embu to build a house to this mother, a mother of 5 who was stranded and homeless because of just life became unbearable. And of course, the big challenge was that she's out of the 5 children, 3 had eye problem and the leg problem, and the other 1 also had an eye problem. So all those the challenges that shows that are going. Hapa, where we're building, is where the parents were born.
Mimi naitwa Virginia Murugi, ningetaka kusaidiwa na nyumba juu ya watoto.
Utashukuru. Na kuna mahali utajengewa ambayo utaanza kuhamisha. Ni kwa mzee ama ni mahali ulizaliwa? Kweli. Mbona si kwa mzee? Mzee ana mahali. Yes, so we have a lot. We are going to build for them. Mali nani alizaliwa. Then we will have to buy them the mattresses and the beds, and of course they need a bigger house so that they can accommodate the children. Watoto wanaenda shule. Ni wangapi wako na shida ya macho? Yes, so these three, wewe anaitwa Alex Mugambi. Yes, so if you see Grace, you can see Grace is so Grace na Alex na huyu wako na shida ya macho.
Trait. There is a new trend that the Kenya Kwanza administration seem to have resorted to. And this is something that is quite unfortunate. I've actually been saying is, I did an article of Kangata. When Kangata explained that between now to 2027, there are several dynamics because the president doesn't know whether Raila will support him. The president must also appreciate that the fourth president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is roaring back in the mountain. And I can tell you, that is something I can confirm, especially this side. They could say sisi tutasikia Uhuru pia. Now, President William Ruto's handlers are saying something and it is a calculated attack. That's the president. And I want us to look at three instances. Number one, Johanna Ngeno, the MP from Narok, is saying that some international airport has been built in Narok. And according to him, the president is building, according to him, kind of that interruption because of the guy who are building materials. So apparently it is a calculated attack that Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to build an airport, international airport in Narok, in his personal property and not. I've done analysis for the last, I don't know how many years, for the last 3 years, and I've never heard that story. The story of an international airport being built in Narok, if you have something, you have an evidence such, I've never seen that. What I know is the president has a residence in Narok. So he could be putting up probably even an airstrip around the place where he is, and that could be his personal. That is what is being confirmed. But now the MP is trying to pick what to use to attack the former president. And just have a snippet of that.
Uhuru huyu aliambiwa ajenge airport hapa nao ya wazungu kuja hapa. Akapeleka airport kwake. Shamba alinunua huko Gilgoris. Hata tumezima hiyo airport, tumesema hatuwezi jenga airport kwa shamba ya mtu. Ndio mtu awe akisafirisha meno ya ndovu ama gold ati kutoka hiyo airport inaenda ngambo. Sisi tulikataa. Na rais hii kupitia governor ametuletea international airport hapa Narok. For the first time in history. International airport. Yenye mandege badala ya kukuja Wilson, badala ya wazungu kufika JKIA na kuenda Wilson na kuenda Mara, wanakuja direct kutoka JKIA wanaland hapa, wanaconnect hapa. Alafu governor, hiyo airport ikikuwa funga mandege yote isiwahi kanyaga Mara kama Tanzania. Kwa nini mandege iende Mara? Mandege ikuje Narok, vijana hawa wetu wote wanunue magari ya kusafirisha wazungu kutoka Narok mpaka huko ndani. Alafu mtu anatuambia ati 5. Ati one time. Hiyo one time, hiyo kitu one time hiyo itakuja kula watu wengine. Sio Rais William Ruto, sio Patrick Ole Ntutu. Lazima Patrick amalize yake 10, rais naye pia amalize yake ngapi? 10. Unangojea mtoto mpaka amalize form 4, afanye mtihani itoke ijulikane kama amepita hajapita. Kwa hivyo Patrick huwezi fanyisha mtihani saa hii. Ati Ntutu amefanya nini? Ni mwaka 2.
Tayari pia nimeshaongelesha hawa wakina mama na wakina baba kuhakikisha ya kwamba watoto wetu wanapokuwa likisoni, kuhakikisha ya kwamba wanachunga ndio tusipate watoto ambayo wanaenda kupata mimba ya mapema wakati wanafungua shule. Tumeambia wanasiasa, rais anapokuja hapa, sisi hatungependa kuona siasa nyingine yoyote. Siasa tunataka kuona ni siasa ya maendeleo.
Now secondly, in 2022, there was a deal that the former president Uhuru Kenyatta signed in France. It was a French company and it was being funded by French conglomerates to build the Nairobi-Nakuru dual carriage highway at a cost of 191 billion. So that project was supposed to start as early as 2022. But what happened immediately President Ruto came to power, Kenya created bottlenecks songa nani? Songa tu hiyo kitu inapeleka kelele, there's something I'm doing. Songa. So Kenya created bottlenecks. Now as we talk today, William Ruto administration has cancelled that deal and has given that deal to China. After Easter, the president is supposed to go and spend 8 days in China. The 8 days China trip has been reported in media corridors as one of the plans to show up numbers and seek development or other funding for several other roads. Now, what has shocked the country is the motive of cancelling that deal at a time the French company was supposed to initiate that. And I would want to just trigger your mind a bit. There was a time the president was speaking, that was in December, and if I remember while he was speaking in Uasin Gishu, he promised that that road, the Nairobi-Nakuru road, the dwelling will start and it will be done before he finishes his term. Now, as we talk, the president seemed to have cancelled it and has gone to China. And some of Uhuru CSS who are around, Uhuru PSS who are around it, are actually looking at that cancellation as a strategic move so that they can get, someone can get his cut. There is something that Rigathi Gachagua said. Rigathi said, the president doesn't start an initiative just for the sake of it. Before anything is done, there is always a question of what is in it for me? What is my cut? And that seemed to have motivated that. I understand that the corridors, people feel uncomfortable with the fallout. People feel uncomfortable that Muturi, who was actually kicked out of government, is a very close associate of former President Uhuru Kenyatta. And with Muturi working with Rigathi Gachagua, there is a high likelihood that Muturi would actually bring Uhuru Kenyatta in the picture. And if I want to tell you Uhuru Kenyatta is in the mix, now there's another one, Ruai. There was a piece of land that was shelved for public use in 2020, and it was used to make the Dandora waste and dump site place. Now, a high court in Nairobi has handed over a company linked to the president to take over the 1.6 acres of that Ruai land linked to the first president. Now, linked to the president. Now, I'm realizing that there is a strategic approach. There is something going on that Uhuru Kenyatta is actually on target. And why the president shivers, the president's team are targeting the attacks on former president as we talk now is what I want us to delve in. Number one, I think the former president party, Jubilee Party, is shoving up numbers for CS Matiang'i's presidential bid. Matiang'i is supposed to launch his presidential bid next month in May, an event that is supposed to happen in Nairobi. The Jubilee Party has stepped up its mobilization in the Nyamira and Kisii areas, and there is a likelihood that that Matiang'i would likely vie through Jubilee Party. Now, why this strategy doesn't sit well with the president is the Kisii nation would likely vote for Matiang'i irrespective of which party, but from the fact that Matiang'i comes from their place. Now, Mount Kenya is also willing to vote for anyone who is a non-Kikuyu for presidency. So if the Jubilee Party will actually give the ticket to Matiang'i, and with Rigathi Gachagua open to working with anyone except William Samoei Arap Ruto, the president understands that Uhuru Kenyatta's axis in the opposition bench is going to be a very lethal force in 2027. And that is why probably I believe they will not want to see the voice of Uhuru Kenyatta in the 2027 general election. Because when that comes up, it's going to cause a bit of some ripple effect. The second issue is this. Why William Ruto seemed to be targeting former President Uhuru Kenyatta for this. You remember the handshake between Raila and Ruto is very lukewarm. And the president is not sure and cannot be sure and is not guaranteed that he's going to get the support from Raila Odinga. Now, one of the things that is likely possible is with Uhuru Kenyatta in the opposition benches, there is a wave going on, and that wave is anti-Ruto wave. Uhuru Kenyatta would likely consolidate anti-Ruto wave. And let me tell you, if today they settle on one candidate, and you see Matiang'i, you see Natembea, Kalonzo, and they settle on one candidate, Uhuru can be the unifying factor in the opposition bench. In fact, I can tell you, the person that can bring Rigathi, Kalonzo, Matiang'i, and all of them under the same umbrella is none other than Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And that is why the president's team are a bit more afraid about the presence of Uhuru Kenyatta. Of course, he's supposed to come in the country, and as now they get towards next general election, he's maintained his stand that he doesn't support the Ruto administration, and Ruto team are not taking it lightly. The other issue where I see Uhuru also being a target is the question of legacy. I did analysis here, and I told you that when Mount Kenya MPs met the president in State House, one of the things they requested is those Uhuru projects to be completed. Now, if Uhuru projects were to be completed, then that was going to help probably them to show up and entice Uhuru to endorse the president. But that is not it. Now, I want to confront this. On this issue of cancelling that deal, while the president is going to the West, is going to the East, and is going to China after realizing that the West is, Trump is withdrawing a lot of aid in the continent. But what is motivating this is deal making. Now, one of the problems, I know one of the challenges that the president is facing here is it's a PPP project. Is it doesn't have a giant project. If you look at Uhuru Kenyatta, there was the expressway, there was the SGR. Uhuru had giant projects that have succeeded during his tenure. So you might want to say everything Uhuru Kenyatta, but you cannot take away the fact that there is something the country can say and say Uhuru Highway. They can look at expressway, they can look at the port, they can look at the SGR and say Uhuru did this and that. Now, William Ruto is under that pressure. And the main objective for pushing through is to make sure that there is a giant project starting somewhere and wooing the West. I believe that if he can do Nairobi-Nakuru highway, the dual highway that has claimed lives due to accidents, then it's going to be advantageous for the president to woo the Western wing. Now, the other issue here, and I looked at it, is the broad-based characters don't have what to account for their stay. They are under pressure to explain, yes, we've worked with the president, but what have we given to the people? So that is also going to be a fodder for the broad-based characters to say, well, when government, we've initiated this and that. Remember when Badi was some point and Badi was saying, Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was in power, was just directing resources to one region. So these are some of the objectives that they want to achieve. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to believe that the move to go after Uhuru Kenyatta, and even if you want to run propaganda, but that is a bit too high at a point when he's not even said he's going to talk about politics. He's not even said who he's supporting. He's not associated with that Jubilee Party per se after just doing those elections. So it will be critical to look at how it falls, but of importance is the fact that the country must have a sober debate on this. Thank you.